What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you are watching TWA Motorsports, and today, just like the thumbnail says, we are going to put a cold air intake on this dirty motor. I had it left over from the gray truck. I took it off before I sold it, so I figured, you know what? Let's put that thing on this new rig and see if it makes any difference. You know, it's not like, it's kind of a big undertaking for what it is. These motors are kind of packed in here in comparison to like the older stuff, like the green truck over there, but still relatively doable. And this is an S&B cold air intake that I got, like I said, a while back for the gray truck. Before I sold the gray truck, I took it off. So I may do some cleaning in here while I'm at it. I don't know how crazy I'll get because this is my daily driver, and I'm not trying to make a show truck here, but at the same time, I also like to clean stuff while I'm in there. But let's get started. We'll see if we can unplug a few things here. That's the mass airflow sensor we'll have to move. This guy right here, actually that comes off of this clip. We need to lift that off. I'm gonna go get my tripod. Let's get started. I feel like the last time I did this was a troubling part. Trying to get this thing lifted off here. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was just that truck didn't like me. But we got that off there. There's a clip down here. I need to go get my clip removal tool. And yeah, we're gonna need that. So there's some of these like plastic clips. This cheap one that I got with a set of clips on Amazon is my favorite. It works so incredibly well. I don't know what there is about it, but yeah, we got a couple clips here. I don't necessarily think this one has to come out, but we're gonna take it out to give us a little more room. Get that harness completely loose from anything it's tied to here. I think we've got it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take off. We've got to take this piece off because there's a section that comes underneath. I may have to get a different clip remover. Oh, that'll work. So we're gonna take all these out. I think there's just a hair under 100 of them out here, but we need to take this upper plate off here because we need access inside. We also need a T15. I'm gonna go grab that too. Let me get these clips off, and we'll go grab a T15 because we got to take the latch loose before we can get the plate out of the way. Now that we got this loose, and in order to get it off of here, they've got like an extension on the hood release. So we're going to take these two T15s out, and then this thing should pull forward and out of the way. Now, should be able to lift this thing off, set it to the side. We're definitely cleaning that. I'll do all my cleaning off camera though. That's terrible. We got another clip right here we're also gonna have to remove. And then I think those are 13 millimeters. We'll do, let's get this off first. There's like a cold air pipe that comes up. I don't know if it drags from the hood. I would assume it does. We got that loose. Let's go grab a 13 and get these two out. There's like a crossover bar here. Has two 13s. You may not have to take it completely out, but I do. Now we should have ample room to do our next step. Move on here. Let's get this. Oh, holy cow, that was actually pretty loose. Looser than it should have been, let's put it that way. And then there's another one back in the back. This big old pipe here makes it really hard to see it, but it is hooked to the throttle body down here. This thing's definitely been off before. I was gonna do this in the lowering video, but then I thought, you know what? How much easier would it be if this thing were lowered to get this off here? Now there is a sneaky little clip over here. I'm gonna take you off the tripod and come show you. Kind of a pain to get loose. And we got to take an evap line loose as well. I'm going to bring you over here and kind of show you. Here's what we got. We've got this there's like a clip right here. You see that? That holds this side of the box down. And then the other thing is we need to push up, should be push up on the bottom of that clip and pull it off. Actually feels like it's loose already. Maybe telling you wrong. I may have to grab a pair of pliers and push that because it's not, oh, there it goes. There we go. Just gotta push to one side with that plastic clip. All right, we got that one off. This one here, sometimes you can use like a pry tool like this, but it's the weirdest clip they put on here. You got to kind of slide it past this little elbow here. And I feel like this is probably the best tool, we just got to slide it past. There's a little pin that slides through here. And once we get this off, then this thing will kind of fold up out of the way. There, we got it. I feel like on my last truck I broke it. Almost positive I did, actually. There's that. And there's that. Now I always keep all this stuff because I think maybe one day I'll put it back together, which I did on the last one. Let's see what else we got. I think we're loose here. We just got to get this 10 millimeter out that holds the box in. The box is only held in with one 10 millimeter, I believe. And then the rest is kind of like a push-in rubber connection. So I'm gonna have to have an extension for this. I also didn't talk about it, but I unhooked the battery, the negative side of the battery. Let's see if I can get this 10 out, and then we should have everything out of the way, ready to do a little cleaning. That 10 is right here. That guy right there. And we should have a loose, it should be loose at this point. Oh, I take that back. We got to pull this front piece out. This little like snorkel. Just pull it kind of up and in. And maybe we'll be able to get this thing out of here. It's a tight fit, I'll tell you that. I feel like they built the truck around it. And there's two rubber pieces. Okay, so these guys right here, we're gonna use these. I feel like they're kind of hard to transfer, but we need to take those two rubber pieces off because they're gonna go on our new intake. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what it was. So now let's go grab some parts. Now look, I've assembled some of those things already, so it'll be a little bit different for you if it's coming brand new out of the box. And I'll be listing it in the description down below if you want to pick up the same intake. But let's go open the box and I'll show you at least. We got to switch the mass airflow sensor over, and that's probably about it other than those little rubber plugs I was talking about when we pulled the box out. Get this stuff out. Obviously we got a big pipe. It comes with screws for your mass airflow sensor, so all we got to do is take those out. Those are actually Phillips, and I believe they're Torx on the factory. So we need to move our mass airflow sensor over to this. It only goes in one way, by the way. It's offset, kind of odd, so you can't put it in wrong. But that is our pipe that's going to go from our filter to our intake. And then this guy right here, which I'm going to be cleaning, is the big part. And then you can see, I'll show you here, this right here are where those rubber pieces go. That box just sets back into place, and then you do actually have to reach inside of the box, so the filter has to go in last. To put that 10 millimeter in, you have to reach in here. So I believe we have to have the filter out for that. So let's just set it to the side. I'm going to clean this stuff up off camera. You also have another piece where you can get additional air if you want. You can pop this panel out. I left it in because I'm driving this thing in rain and whatnot. This opening in the front is where that kind of snorkel piece goes in. Ooh, I also need to take that off there because I've got some new ones of these. These are zip ties that have a kind of a Christmas tree on them. So I need to take that out. This is where that brake control module, that big, huge connector, sets on this. The box somewhat cleaned up. So we're gonna put this thing in here. I've transferred those rubber bumpers. Those guys are the hardest thing to get in. They go in, there's a little circle there and one here. And I'm telling you, it's a fight. They wanna fall off on the walk down there. And I think I had this problem with the last one anyway. We'll see if they'll stick around on this one. If you could get it in here kind of sideways, it'd be better, but it is a tight fit. Yeah, it really needs to go in like it came out. I think it'd be easier if you took the coolant reservoir out. Yeah, already losing a rubber grommet here. I'm gonna take it off, sneak it past this, and then try to poke it back on. There we go. We are nowhere near where we need to be. Getting closer. I'm telling you guys, this is a tight fit. There we go. We're so close. I feel like that bar's in the way a little bit. This bar right here. Something's hitting. Maybe not. I think we're there. Just gotta make sure there's nothing pinched down below. There we go. Got to get on that stud right there. Make sure my rubber pieces stayed in. Eek. One did. And the other one kind of did. Once you get it seated, you're going to have to use like a ratcheting tin and get this tight. Because you can't come from the top like you did before. This is the hardest part. I'm not gonna lie to you. Getting those rubber grommets lined up in the back without knocking them out. They stay really well on the factory intake, but this one, they just want to fall off if you get them in any kind of bind. And once I get this in, then we'll position our front like intake or whatever they call that. It's as tight as the factory one was. But we're basically shoving this intake pipe back in to the front. And there we go. Once we get that lined up, we'll be able to put our push clip back in, and our bar for that matter. I push that clip back in, got the bar in. Let's go clean something else. we'll get the intake. I think I want to vacuum out that filter because it's got some dust in it. I need to transfer the mass airflow sensor, then we'll grab that whole pipe. I don't really want to put, well, I guess we can. This guy can set on there, but I'd rather have the room right now. And then we're gonna have to extend this. We'll get to that. Let me clean this other stuff up, switch the mass airflow sensor over, and then we'll get that whole pipe over here and finish this up. And I've got the filter vacuumed out and dusted off. See if we can get it to set in here. It's kind of like a press fit. There we go. And then we've got this piece, and this is where I swapped over the mass airflow sensor, you can see. And I think it's probably easiest to put on the throttle body and then on this. Just my opinion. Just seemed to fit the best that way last time I did it. We'll see here. Is my camera still making noise? Yeah. So we'll get this cinched down. And normally you'd have to put the ring on the throttle body side here, but already got that assembled since it was used before. Now you're probably wondering, like, well, how the mass airflow plug's right here. What are we gonna do? Well, it actually comes with a new mass airflow plug, an extension. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on now. We'll double check that these things are cinched up. And I really should get I really need a socket that fits this instead of trying to do it with a flathead. That's snug. There's a couple more pieces to this puzzle. One is the mass airflow extension. So this is the extension harness that's gonna plug in here. I wonder if I got that upside down. No, that's it. Just want to make sure that it's clicked, and then you'll see we've got a zip tie with a push clip, and on the back side of this intake there is a spot to hold that. So we'll push that in there so it stays out of all your like plugs and wires and whatnot. And then I'm going to show you, there's another place where we're going to put one of those. I think I may have slid that up over there, didn't I? If I did, I need to slide it back down so it doesn't come unhooked. We need to get another one of those because there's a hole in the side of the intake here that this is going to go into and kind of tie up down here. I'll show you, I'll get you a little closer. But the last thing is we've got to remove this because it doesn't really fit anymore. It should be the same. Okay, I was going to say just push on this side. That should release it. And then depending on your routing, I think this is the best way to route it, to put the 90 down here like that and then come in to the side, just in my opinion. The instructions actually show it the other way. I just didn't think that looked right. You had this big loop there, just looked odd to me. I'm going to take you off the tripod in a minute and show you the Christmas tree clip that we got to put in. Other than that, we're pretty much finished. So I'm talking like Christmas tree clips. This is a zip tie with the Christmas tree clip on it. And you can see we've got a hole right here in the side. Well, maybe you can see if I can get my light lined up here. There's a hole right here that slides into. And then we're gonna loop that around these three things, the mass airflow extension being one of them. And once we do that, we'll push it or pull the zip tie through, get everything clipped up nice. Make sure it's out of the way. One of the factory ones lines up down there. There's a second hole right below this one. Yeah, this is going to be a two-hand operation, I have a feeling. Probably a two-hand operation, but either way, you get what I'm doing here, keeping this out of the pulleys and whatnot. And then this is one thing I don't like about this. This is like Plex that goes in the top here that closes that out, and it scratches really easy. So I just wipe the dust off of it, and you can see like the marring and whatnot. But I'm gonna go ahead off camera, clean this just a little bit. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on it, and get it clipped back in, and we're finished at that point. We've got everything buttoned back up. Got this back on. Like I said, I cleaned it a little bit. T15s in this guy, all the clips are on the side. Hook the battery back up. So now all we gotta do is start it up and it'll pop wheelies. Cold air intakes, that's where it's at. I will tell you guys, the last time I did this on one of these, I got, after a couple weeks, I got a message saying that the air filter was bad or something. We're gonna have to reset our windows and whatnot. But anyway, if that happens to you, make sure you clear it out. So you can go over to info. Oh, it's not gonna register anything right now. That's brakes. Man, it's not showing anything. Air filter life. I'm gonna reset it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna reset it, but then I'm also gonna disable it. Okay? Because if you don't disable it and that comes on, which a lot of times it does, even after like a week of driving, and they state this in the book or the instructions, but they say that you need to disable it, because if you don't disable it or reset it, as soon as you get that error, it's going to get stuck in the computer and you're not going to have the ability to reset it. So always a good idea to just disable it completely. I ended up having to use my scan tool to do it last time, because once it says reset and you go through a couple cycles, it will not allow you to reset at that point. You have to manually reset it with like a snap-on scanner or a GM like Tech 2 or scan tool. But if you guys did enjoy the video on the SMB cold air intake install, I know you've seen it before, but I wanted to show you some of the stuff that we're doing to this truck. I think this is about it for now. Maybe down the road headers, a tune, but I don't want to do anything else other than figuring out the wheel situation, maybe getting that tucked in a little more. But anyway, if you did enjoy it, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, go down, hit the subscribe, ring that bell notification. That will notify you every time we drop a new video on this or anything else. Stay tuned to see what we work on next.